Welcome back to the Javelina 100 presented by Hoka. I'm Chris Warden.
And I'm Tyler Durden.
And we are joined now by a guy who is pretty much a fixture at this race, as well as every other 100-miler in the West Coast.
What is Andy Glaze not a fixture of at
I was
going
to say, yeah, Andy Glaze, welcome to the show.
I'm not a fixture of the podium, I'll tell you
well,
that.
I also saw that you had some firefighting results of being the least flexible firefighter.
Yes. I can barely touch my knees. So, yeah.
I
we
mean,
did all these flexibility tests and yeah.
My husband can't sit Indian style. He never has been able to.
That's surprising, given as active as you are. You would think that there would be some muscle flexibility.
When I can remember being like 10 years old in football and my coach sitting on my back being like, Glaze, you will touch your toes. Being like, I don't think I will, sir. And I still have never touched my toes. So,
oh my goodness.
It doesn't stop you from running a lot. Can we just start with what Andy Glaze has run this year so far for everyone at home? I was sitting back the other day and I was like, I have had a really long season. I started racing in February and it's October and it feels like a long season. And then I looked at what Andy Glaze has run this year and I was like, I can't say.
This is my off year too.
This is nuts. Okay, starting with Coldwater Rumble in January. He doesn't just do 100 milers. 300-mile Arizona Monster in April, Cocodona 250 in May, Crazy Mountain in July, 100, Leadville 100 in August, UTMB, just that little race in also August. And then the big one, the White Whale of Andy Glaze, Moab 240, completed just a mere couple weeks ago, October 10th.
I don't know if it was a couple of weeks or like a week ago.
It still feels like it was a week ago.
It still feels pretty close, yeah.
It's very close. So why are you back at Javelina?
I mean, I love this race. This is, it's just such a fun end of the season race. I got history here. This is where I proposed to my wife back in the day.
She's out. She's right here.
So, we love coming here because we obviously have good memories of that, even though that was the 1 year I DNF'd. But,
Did you win in
well,
all of this?
I had a whole plan. I ran with the ring the whole time and then DNF'd because I had some severe chafing issues in the genital region that I could not push through. Or didn't want to push through, and so I ended up just proposing in the parking lot before we drove home.
That's wonderful.
So,
that's amazing.
So because I had run the whole time with the ring, so it was like I had to do it. But
I think you could then say I love you more than this race. Obviously, I stopped it just so that I could propose to you because I couldn't wait any longer. I love that story.
Exactly.
Yes.
So and it's just such a fun race. Great volunteers, great organization. Like when people always ask me like, what should be my first 100-miler? I'm always like Javelina.
Yeah.
If you can get in, now it's obviously very difficult to get in, but if you can get in, this is the race.
Andy, what was the first year you ran Javelina? Do you go as far back as like 10 years or more?
No. It's not that. I've only finished it 3 times. I don't remember. Maybe like 18 or 17 or something
so
like
you've
that.
always been at this headquarters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've always been here, yeah.
You're known to a lot of people around the world for, your obviously the sheer volume of racing you do, but also your training and your weekly run totals. What is it about the way you approach running that makes it possible for you to sustain this and still keep your body together? Because I think that's what to me is the most amazing thing about it, is the fact that like you're still able to step up and do all these races. It's not just the volume training, it's the fact that it hasn't had that kind of negative effect on your ability to go and basically in one day go and knock it out.
Well, it's negatively affected my ability to podium anymore. So and run them with any sort of like in speed. But when I was younger, I was a little bit better at doing that. So, but I mean, for me at my age and where I'm at in life, I just want to experience as much races as I can while I still can. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's being a little greedy and just like I just have so much fun out here, like type 2 fun, but fun. I just want to get them all in, because I know someday I'm not going to be able to. So I don't want to live with regret, and I don't want to be like, I really want. Back in the day, I won ultras and did things, but like now I just kind of want to experience them. And it's really fun to run with all the people. When you're like a mid-packer, you get a lot more time with everybody. Where I can remember running a whole 100-miler never seen anybody and just having somebody chasing me the whole time, you know, and that has value too, but it's also really fun just to run with people, hear their stories, talk to them, and Javelina is a great race for that.
Well, I think that the recognition has probably exploded in the time you've maybe perhaps been like less competitive. I think that you've become such a symbol of the mid-packer and the everyday runner that it's made you like such a favorite on social media. Like people, like I would say in the last 2 years, the number of people asking me if I know Andy Glaze that aren't ultra runners has absolutely exploded. I think that that's an awesome thing that you're able to give people something to kind of focus on. Like, you know, it's one thing to be like a podium finisher, but at the same time, like you're still an extremely talented runner, but you also have an approachable bent to it that a lot of people just might not have.
Well, when you run an ultra, you're probably going to have more of an experience like how I have in my movies. So I think I touch people better because it's like it's giving them what they're going to expect. You're going to suffer. You're going to have highs. You're going to have lows. There's going to be crazy weather, whatever, and it's going to take you a long time, which is a different experience from if you watch the people that are podium. You're like, oh, I'm going to run 100 miles in 12 hours, like so impressive, and I love to see it. But it's a totally different experience than the guy that's going to spend 30 hours out here, you know, death marching and doing all the things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I want to tell a little story along those lines. I was running on our local trails like 3 days ago, and I came up on this guy who had all this hard rock gear on, and I'm like, I gotta stop and talk to this guy. Who is this guy? I gotta stop and say, like, have you run hard rock? Why are you wearing all this? He had like a pull, so he was hiking, he was moving fairly slow. Start talking to him. He's like, are you an ultra runner? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you gonna run? I'm like, I'm gonna run Javelina this weekend. And he's like, oh, I think also that guy Andrew Glaze. I was like, yeah, Andy Glaze is also running it. This is someone, okay, it was Rick Hodges, who has run 19 hard rocks and finished 14.
Yeah.
And I did not know it was him, but I was like, you're a legend. Let me take a picture. And then I was like, this is somebody who I am probably like 98% sure doesn't have social media.
Right.
How does he know who Andy Glaze is? But everybody does. And like, that's really cool is that you're just spreading the word on the sport. And like, legends are talking about you on the trail.
Oh,
You know?
like the fact that I've had interactions with Andy Glaze has actually like been something I am hanging my hat on, because people are like, oh, you've met him? Like, oh yeah, several times.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think from my perspective, I just really want this sport to continue doing well, and it's on the upswing. And, you know, I remember being influenced by seeing YouTube videos back in the day that made me want to go run UTMB. And so I'm sure people watch my videos and are like, I want to do that. And for our sport, that is, that's important, because we have to reach that younger generation so that our sport doesn't die with all the old people like me when I eventually can't run anymore, you know?
And we do that through the live streams. I mean, so many people that are like, whoa, I didn't even know. And so the live streams, shout out to Mountain Outpost, have also, you know, helping move it forward in that way. But like, yeah, you're hugely influential.
Oh, Mountain Outpost back in the day when that was like the only ultra show on YouTube, like I'm talking, you know, I don't know, 12, 13 years ago. I mean, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
The Jamil Commando style stuff.
Yeah, it was amazing. So
yeah. Awesome.
So, you know, obviously you're going for your fourth finish here at Javelina. You know, you know what you're capable of. You know what kind of day you need to have in order to, you know what. There's no secrets out there for you. What does a good weekend for Andy Glaze this weekend look like?
I mean, just having fun, I think. Like, I don't know what I'm capable of because it's been so close to Moab, and I haven't run more than 6 miles since Moab, so I don't really know what my body's going to do. You know, if it's going to freak out or if it's going to, like, cooperate. Maybe a little both. I don't know. I mean, a finish would be awesome. You know, sub 24 would be awesome, but I don't like to put any pressure on myself. Finish is always the goal, and then to have fun, smile, you know, all the things that's more the goal. But if I get a sub 24, cool. If I don't have any 24 plus buckles so that I can have a new buckle. I only have sub 24. So.
Slow down for the new buckle.
Just for the new hardware.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think we just need to talk about your family Halloween costumes real quick because it's like
Let's
my
do it.
favorite. Let's do it because we could ask Andy about his streak and everything that everybody else asked him about. But I just saw an Adams family Halloween photo. The thing I most appreciated, because I have teenagers, is that you were saying that is the exact amount of enthusiasm you get from teenagers, and they were just like deadpan, not making any. I love it. So have there been favorite years of like what you guys have dressed up as?
I mean, last year we did Beetlejuice, and
Good.
that was pretty good. Although Lauren hated her costume, but this year everyone seemed to like their costume a lot. I've done it so many years. That's a streak going on too.
Nice. You like streaks.
Yeah, we had like the first year we were all together. We did a superhero one. So my daughter's like 2 years old, and she's in Wonder Woman with her like hands on her hips, and it's like the cutest picture ever.
Yeah.
So probably the first one, and then the last two I've put in some production value in. I mean, we've done things like I literally just cut holes in sheets and we were ghosts.
Yeah.
So
you gotta do that
we've
one
gone
year.
lo-fi and then hi-fi. So
Nice.
Are you going to be doing any documentation of this, or are you going to be throwing live video out there at all?
I mean, if I can get cell service, if Verizon's not cooperating with me right now, I'm gonna have to find someone with a Starlink out here. I'm sure I can.
I'm sure
There's
you
a
know
few of
people
them.
who
Yeah,
have
I'm sure
access
I
to
can
a
find
Starlink.
somebody.
Yeah.
So-
At Moab, it was like I'd come into every aid station and I'd be like, "Who has a Starlink?" And I'd get the password. They're like, "Oh, we're not giving it out to runners," and I'd be like, "Can you give it to me, please?" And then, okay, and then I'd like upload all my content.
Nice. All right, the last one I have, I don't know. People ask me like, "What do your kids think of all your running or whatever?" And that's kind of an annoying question, so I'm not going to ask you that question. What I am going to ask you is like, what do you hope that like your running imparts on your kids?
I mean, I think what I try to impart on them is just the value of hard work, the value of being consistent, staying physically in shape, and you lead by example. So it's like even if the kids reject it at certain ages, they're still exposed to it over and over and over again. And like I think back to my parents and like what they did. I rejected it through my teenage years, but then obviously accepted it later in life. And so I think the lessons I teach them will be lifelong, even if I'm not saying they're like that now. Now they love me and everything's cool, but I know that we're, 14, 13, and 11. We're getting to those ages where, I'm not going to be the cool dad anymore. So we'll have to see. But Hayden ran a marathon with me this year, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And he's really liking running, loving running and hating running. But, I think we all have that.
Isn't that how it is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like while he's doing it, he enjoys it. But, that whole mentally starting it is hard,
Yeah.
My other two daughters are, one's super athletic with horses and one's super athletic with cheer and dance. So we're an active family, and my wife's a muscle mommy, so she's always lifting weights, and
She's badass.
that's cool too. So we
yeah.
all do our own thing, and nobody's being forced to do anything, but we definitely are active.
Cool.
Well, I'm so looking forward to seeing you out there in the course this weekend. I know that there are going to be some times where people, are going to be approaching you to have interactions, and I know that that's one of the things that I was talking with Jamil Curry earlier today, and there was a guy who came up and saw talking to him, and Jamil actually signed his shirt.
Yeah.
And I walked up to Jamil afterwards, and I was like, dude, you just made that dude's weekend? And you're going to have those experiences, those opportunities to make people's weekends this.
Oh, I tell everybody I don't bite, not that hard. So please come up and let's take pictures. Let's introduce yourself, and I'm down to meet everybody. So
Yeah.
I'm not competitive out here. So if we stop and take a picture, it's not going to ruin my race or anything.
Are you willing to reveal which costume you're going with?
I think I'm going to go with the Waldo costume.
Waldo.
Yeah.
Love it. That was a good one.
We'll see.
Classic.
I might cut some holes in it, do like a Walmsley Waldo or something.
Walmsley Waldo. Love it.
Or
it.
the new Nike
Yeah,
Waldo.
yeah. Or a Satisfy
A
Waldo.
satisfying.
Moth tag
Waldo.
I love that. I love that.
Came up with it.
Andy,
We're done.
thanks. Yeah, we can't top that.
Can't top that.
Can't top that.
All right, Andy, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you out there.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Good luck, Andy.
Thank you, everybody.
I don't know who I'm supposed to wave at, but
Everybody.
Yeah.
Wave it up.